So, back to SPQR, and here we are at the Battle of Bagradas Plains, or something like that. Bagradas Plains. This is a situation quite a bit later on, actually. We're in 255 BC now. And it's a different war. It's against Carthage. Romans did very well against Carthage, both on land and actually won a major naval battle. And the consul Regulus lands with a couple of armies, set up as follows. Now, this is your standard Roman setup, except we don't have a lot of cav. And it's a little deeper than perhaps you'd like to see. You'd want to see something a little bit more compact, probably. Maybe I don't know why it's stretched out in quite this manner, but easy enough to fix. You know, it's not going to be hard to move units forward and create a more compact line. But maybe it's not compact for a reason, and that's because this line here is all elephants. Wow. They're not the Indian elephants, they're just the Africans. They're not quite as potent, and they're more likely to rampage and such now. But that's got to be a mighty, mighty force. What's the value of it? It's going to be kind of questionable, because there's no Roman cav for it to really destroy. So it's going to be going after the infantry. This is where I believe the idea that the infantry let the elephants pass through was reported. Some people disagree that it ever could have happened. But anyway, this is going to be a major, major elephant engagement, in the sense that that's a big part of the Carthaginian line. Now, right behind that, we have big old Carthaginian phalanxes, and they're as good as any of the phalanxes we saw the Greeks have. So they're going to provide something of a challenge for the Romans, because there's no cav for them to try to undermine them. So as long as they move forward at a steady pace and don't get themselves too broken up, they will be a potent power. And then over here we have some Celtic mercenaries. They don't look too impressive. However, what is, and some light infantry too, which isn't bad, but it's nothing that great. What is impressive, however, is we have also a decent sized cav wing on both sides, and way, way more than the Romans have. And that means, you know, the Romans have nothing to anchor their flanks on. They're fighting in the middle of a plain, and they don't have the mobility. I think this is not going to be a very easy battle for them at all. So, not sure quite what to do, except maybe try to form a square. It's really going to be a tough situation. The withdrawal values, and this is by the basic rules, not the Pyrrhic War ones, which are kind of simple actually. It's 120 route points for Rome, 100 route points for Carthage. Which means if Carthage starts to take losses, they're in trouble. Now, here they give it a route ratio of 35%. Elephants are only counted as 2 TQ points, that's why. Okay. Alright. So, losing the elephants isn't that bad a thing, I guess. Anyway, we're going to give this a shot. Not tonight, but tomorrow, when I get home. Too tired now. So, here we are. And the Romans are beginning to build themselves almost a square formation. That's the intention here. And I have a difficult decision to make, because all the Roman leaders are worse. They're able to go first. There's no elite leader. Even over here, Xanthus whoever, some Spartan dude who came over to help Carthage, for pay no doubt, is not an elite, so he can't cause some action to happen at any time. He's fairly good, so he could force an he could roll for a trumping, but it's not guaranteed. In fact, 7, 8, or 9 it fails, and he'll be finished, which may not be that terrible. However, even if he trumps, what can he do from where he is in this back line? He's got to get some of that stuff moving in front of him. So the key to trumping would be either our 5 here or our 4 initiative here, both of which are riskier. The advantage of doing a trumping, especially with the 4, would be bypassing only the Roman soldiers, Roman leaders, so that they would only get 1 action. But chances are they're only going to get 1 activity anyway. So it's kind of a risk here if I want to take that. Or do I want to face what's really a much more solid Roman formation if they can build that square? I think. I can't be sure. I don't know what would happen. I mean, if they let the elephants go through into the circle, what does that mean? That could be ugly. But it certainly would help them protect. It would help protect their flanks against the cav, where they have, only 1 cav on each side to defend them. So I think it's kind of a major game changer for them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to roll for initiative over on Hasdrubal here. Unfortunately, that will bypass both of these leaders, but I think that's okay in comparison to allowing that square to form. And I get an initiative. So I'll start moving that cav and see if I can kind of collapse part of that flank. Okay, so good old Hasdrubal got a triple activation, slammed with his cav, did so-so, routed 2 units actually, one of which was the cav unit. He went chasing off map, and after destroying it, the other one a legionary unit. He moved his lights and these Cretan medium infantry up. I don't consider either of them terribly valuable. I don't have a lot of these counters, so I'm marking this to indicate anyone below a 5 is trumped. That means they can't roll for an addition, for a momentum, because they were bypassed by his action. Well, that still boots it back to the Romans, and pretty much their second to last line. I don't feel like a lot of damage was done. I'm not sure another trump is worth the risk. It just wasn't all that effective. So Carthage has allowed the Romans to build themselves a little circle. Now you'll notice one thing, is that I built these gaps in. Those are very specifically there. I've got units double stacked because the Manipular Legion allows the Legion to spread out, but it also gives these lights the Velites a chance to route through without disrupting the organization. Just one of the little tricky plays in the game. It's pretty much up to the Carthaginians now to begin their attack. Well, poorly laid plans don't work well. So remember when I was talking about those gaps? They don't really work because the Velites were unable to move forward a space. With them so close to the main Roman line, it meant the elephants could charge up, get right adjacent to the Velites, and the Legion either has to form up into its line, or if it lets the Velites through, quite possibly be pinned by the elephants. They decided to form up and take the hits for whatever Velites fled, and some definitely did, and we got a few minor hits. I think one took 4, but most of them only 1. The elephants, however, didn't do all that great. We see a few of them here, but basically I had every other space covered by an elephant. This was a first shock. I'm going to try to send another wave in. Let's see if I get a continuation there. I do not. so a second wave isn't following necessarily. Now, Xanthus could launch a second wave. I'm not sure how valuable that is. We're not too impressed. Here we got 4 elephants dead to the 1 calf. Now, elephants don't cost a lot. They're two each, not their full TQ. Probably ran off map or something, perhaps. I don't know. Anyway, it's going to be the Roman commander's turn, and he's probably going to try to rally his forces, the Velites, and bring them up into line. Got a big worry, which is really the Triari line, which I can't turn around. So if elephants come flying through, the Triari may be at risk at getting hit because they can't move until something other than an elephant comes within 3 hexes of them. And the cav can also be far enough away that it can hit them in the rear. So they're the big gap right now in this structure. And that's what I'm going to try to exploit with the Carthaginians, I think. We'll see. And that's the end of the turn, with the dismal showing that the Carthaginian elephants had against the Velites. They've decided not to take on the legion itself directly and started swinging over for a flank and try to get at those Triari or something from behind. Just see if they can bust this formation in some way, because it's just too tough to throw elephants at good stuff without any point. And Cav is no better. I mean, it's just the Legion didn't get to move, or the Phalanxes didn't get to move upward. They were kind of blocked anyway, so that's no big deal. But and I didn't get a momentum to move the rest of the elephants, perhaps around the other side, which I was kind of planning on doing. But I did manage to trump Regulus and take the initiative away from him, so he can't rally all his forces. And what we're going to see there is some of these routers maybe disrupting on their way out as well. Okay, well, I'm going to go through the cleanup actions, but in the meantime I'm going to just load this up for you.